we're excited about the women's softball team. I actually watched a couple games this last week, getting to the World Series, and our thoughts and prayers are with the Bart Starr family, with his passing, and also Rod and Paula Bramlett from Auburn's family. Some tragic news for all of us in Alabama, with some people who had a significant impact on the sports tradition in Alabama for a long, long time. From our standpoint, our players, freshmen reported yesterday. We have several guys that still have to graduate from school, where their school hasn't gotten out yet, but we hope they'll be there, within the next week. Our players are, most of them coming back tonight, between 5 and 8. And we actually start summer classes on Wednesday, and we'll start our program on Thursday. And the question is we're not very who here on our team is really happy with the way things ended up last year. We're certainly not. So we've talked a lot about the Bama factor, playing with discipline, high standard of accountability and responsibility, and doing your job at a high level on a consistent basis, and everybody putting the team first. And we're certainly still working on that, and we obviously have a plan for how we want to improve based on what we saw in spring practice from our group. So that's kind of where we're at.
Open it up for questions.
Is everyone who signed expected to enroll this week?
Yep.
Coach, with all the talk about the items on the agenda, I guess the transfers, alcohol, and stadiums, what elements of the college game do you feel are the most important to protect? Because a lot of this sounds like pro football stuff that's coming this way, expanded playoffs.
Well, I think there's a fine line between protecting the integrity of college football and understanding that I don't think, as big as it's gotten, that any of us could deny the fact that we are in the entertainment business to some degree. So finding a balance between those two things sometimes is difficult. The things that I focus on is really what affects the player. That's sort of our job as coaches to try to help our guys be more successful in life for having been involved in the program. Help them develop personally, academically, and athletically, so that they have, a better chance to be successful in the future. So, and things that affect that are the things that, we try to focus on. So, you're talking about roster management is one of the things that, comes up a lot here. And, I think it is what it is, but how we manage our rosters so we don't penalize the guys that are left in the program probably is, the thing that I choose to focus on most, and having a program that is beneficial to the player, so there's no reason for them to want to leave.
Nick, you guys have played an attractive neutral site game on your schedule usually to open the season. Where do you see Alabama football scheduling, 8 to 10 years in terms of, do you expect it to be beefed up more? Yeah,
most of what we've done in the future, we're still going to these neutral site games, but the exposure that neutral site games gave to our program in the beginning was probably an integral part of what helped us be successful in building a program. Because when we did it 12 years ago, nobody else did it, and we played Clemson, and some of those games, really got the program some very positive attention, and that helped us continue to build. But I think the negative of those things is, when you look at your fans and you think about your fans, and we go to a neutral site game, we've been fortunate enough to get in the playoffs. They go to a playoff game, they go to an SEC championship game, they go to another playoff game if you win. It's really kind of hard on your fans. So you also take something away because you're taking a home game away, at least every other year if you're playing home and home with a good Division I school. So I think you'll see that our future schedules, if we release future schedules, we have home and home with Texas, Notre Dame,
West Virginia,
Oklahoma. So, and then the years that we can't do that, we'll probably try to fill in with neutral site games. But I think the dynamic of those games sort of change a little bit for us.
Coach, somebody earlier, another coach that called the number of people in the transfer portal staggering, and also the fact that a lot of them haven't found a place to land. Where do you kind of stand on this whole phenomenon recently?
Well, we've always had to deal with guys that wanted to transfer. Now we just have a mechanism for them to be able to do that. And we also have an opportunity for the school to take action against that person in terms of their scholarship. Look, I'm for whatever benefits the player. I think that a lot of us think that we have a good program that is actually in place to try to create value for players in their future. And it's not just about playing. I mean, you still go to college to prepare yourself for the day you can't play football. At least that's our philosophy in terms of guys' personal development, guys developing a career off the field by graduating from school. And I think there's so much emphasis now on playing time, that guys have these visions even when they're in high school because of the attention that they get, that their college career is just a conduit to get to the NFL. And I don't think that's a good scenario, because you don't go to college with the right sort of goals and aspirations of what's important and what's going to affect and impact your life long term. I think some of this stuff is created by all of us. The attention that high school players get now, we've accelerated the recruiting calendar forward, so guys that are freshmen and sophomores are expected to get recruited. So I still think that development is a really important part of any player's future, and committing to that development personally, academically, and athletically is important. And if we make it easy for them to get uncommitted to that, I don't know how much that benefits them or their future.
Do you think
But there are circumstances where I think players probably have a situation where there may be a benefit to them going someplace else.
Do you think it's happening more? Sorry to interrupt you there. Do you think it's happening more? Because you said it's always been happening, but it seems from our perspective, because we're hearing about it more, but is it just more public?
Yeah, I think you might be right about that. I don't feel it's happening more like in our program, and I can't tell you how many guys are in the pool. I don't really. I mean, we check it just to see if there's anybody we would be interested in if we have a position of need or something, but more the graduate transfer who's immediately eligible than anything else.
Coach, we'll wrap up here with Cecil.
All the questions last year at this meeting were about your quarterback situation, obviously with Tua and Jalen, and just thought I'd ask this year's quarterback situation. How is Tua coming out of the spring? How is he doing going into the season?
Well, I think Tua's got to challenge himself a little bit to get back to. I think being hurt was an issue for him at the end of the season, and I think that he has to challenge himself to get back into great shape, and overcome some of the things that happened toward the end of the year. And I think he should take the perception that he has a lot to prove relative to how we ended the season. I think our whole team fits into that category. The other quarterbacks are obviously guys that are developing and have done some good things, and obviously have some things that they need to continue to work on, and hopefully we'll be able to get them some positive improvement over the summer and then fall camp, and then we'll have an opportunity to get them some kind of experience level early in the season that might benefit them if they need it down the road.